Good morning. Welcome to the Celtic Way Morning Briefing Live. I'm Tony Haggerty, a Haggerty10 Twitter handle, as you all know by now, and I'm joined once again by Sean Martin at Sean Martin TCW. How are you, Sean?
Ticket to boo, Tony, you?
Ticket to boo, indeed. It's another happy Monday. Celtic made it 4 Premiership wins out of 4, Sean. Carved out a 2-point lead at the top of the table already with a 2-0 win over Hearts. Goals scored by Kyogo Furuhashi and Georges Giakoumakis. Now, Ange, after it said that it wasn't a free-flowing performance, Sean, but I thought it was pretty dominant without ever being under any pressure at all, because Hearts never had a shot on target.
No, they didn't. I think you says it to me yesterday after the game at full time, dominant but not clinical.
Yeah.
I think that sums it up. I think the Celtic could have scored a couple more. Ultimately, they didn't have to score a couple more. Hearts offered very, very little going forward, I would have said. That said, and I tweeted this out at half time, I do think a better technical player levels proceedings for Hearts. Joe Hart, I think, potentially knew the kind of player that he was facing. I'll give him that credit, and thought if I rush out, he's not going to have the wherewithal to dink me. Because I think everybody expected them to lift it, and thankfully for Joe Hart, it just kind of dragged it wide. But that chance I thought was a good chance, in the way that they carved Celtic open just in that wee period of play. I felt could have changed the way that the first half was going. But apart from that, I didn't think Hearts offered much going forward. As you say, no shots on target, and Celtic, all right, but profligate again in front of goal, but ultimately scored 2, conceded none.
2 main men scoring again, Sean. They're going for it, aren't they?
Giakoumakis is good value. See, not just for an in-play bet, but see if you're see just looking at him coming on, especially if Kyogo scored.
Yeah,
you just see it. You see it in his eyes.
The great thing about that, and we spoke about this a couple of weeks ago, is that they're spurring each other on, aren't they? Morning, David. You know, to score goals and to produce, you know, that A game whenever they go on the field.
Yep.
Where they get the table from. There you go.
Busy looking at that league table, Tony.
That's probably, that's what it was. But, you know, so that's a great thing, because we noticed it last week. Giakoumakis wasn't even the pitch without scoring at Rugby Park. And then yesterday again, I felt he had the same kind of attitude, especially after he'd missed a header narrowly.
Yeah.
And he was determined to score after that.
He's just got that about him whenever he comes on, to be honest. And it's almost enhanced when he's a sub, because it's like, well, I need to do it now, and Kyogo's scored already, and I'll just come on and remind everybody what I'm capable of, that kind of thing. He also could have had, or should have had, an assist.
Yes.
Because it was him that cushioned the ball through for Jens, was it?
Yes.
Yep. And he blasted it over. He was going for 3 and 3. He was ready to rival the two of them for the top scorer award. But again, I think the subs, he made them earlier than usual.
Yeah, 55 minutes.
He's made a couple at 55, 56 minutes, but it's been usually enforced by a knock, that kind of thing, like Jens coming off down at Rugby Park. But it wasn't enforced yesterday, which I found interesting. I think the way that the second half started, not that Hearts were overly worrying the defence or anything, but just that kind of uptick in intensity, rather than wait for something to happen. He just decided to be proactive and get the players on. And we spoke about it off air. We both thought Reo Hatate, in particular, when he came on, was quite creative and quite, also just a presence in general, just a wee bit of intensity. And I'm looking at the data before we come on there, and I might single him out for a wee tweet as well, because I think in his half an hour, 35 minutes or so, he did actually tangibly do a lot. It wasn't just the eye test. He actually did contribute, without obviously getting a goal or an assist or anything, but he still did.
He also did his defensive chores well too. I picked up on that yesterday. Got a couple of headed clearances and a couple of blocks in down the line as Hearts were trying to attack. So yeah, I was really pleased with Hatate's performance when he came on. I tell you what also pleased me, Sean, the first goal. Tumble, lovely pass to Maeda, and Maeda to Kyogo. Same repeat, rinse, repeat.
I think that was a really quite a difficult finish, Tony.
Yeah, it was.
Only because, I mean, he'd got himself the freedom of the penalty area and stuff. So in that sense, it's, well, it's Kyogo with nobody anywhere near him. Of course, he's going to finish it, but at the same time, Maeda put it in with some amount of pace on it.
Fired it across,
for Kyogo to actually get his leg up, cushion that in with a side foot without really blinking or anything, I think goes kind of under the radar a wee bit how difficult that finish actually was in real time.
Yeah, but also it's just the fact that Maeda's firing it in there, knowing he's there. Again, I used to say to you before about Ralston with Giakoumakis. Maeda's just looked up and went, if I fire it in here, he should be there. And yeah, sure enough, and that's giving Celtic the kind of breakthrough goal after 13 minutes on. And I think a lot of people thought it might end up a procession.
I think it could have, and I predicted 4-0, you predicted 5-0. It wasn't quite that, but it was still a clean sheet. And again, I think they could have had one or two more. But it's got to laugh here. Robert Gibson saying two syllables or less, please, Sean. It's night time here. I think it's because I used profligate, Tony.
Is that what it is?
I think so.
2 syllables, brilliant. Love that. Well, we'll keep the big words for another pod then, Shawnee, shall we? Just keep it easy today. Yep. Patrick McLaughlin says Hatate gives us that extra oomph in the first 35 minutes at home, particularly. Yeah, possibly. But I just thought he had a lovely cameo performance. I thought he was really good, and he looked at it and looked keen to be back, didn't he?
Yeah, definitely. I mean, it was, as Ange Postecoglou mentioned last week, he was technically ready for Rugby Park. He could have played him, he could have put him in a squad, but he just didn't want to rush him back, and also the plastic pitch and stuff. So I'm not surprised that, given he had to wait another week to get his game, that he came on and wanted to make that kind of impact and looked refreshed, and a couple of long bursting runs. Sometimes never get the ball, but he was still making them, which is half the battle, I think. It's also interesting, if we're talking about midfield, I'm sure there'll be comments, but I'm interested to see what people thought of Aaron Moy when he came on. I mentioned him in my kind of just brief tweet at full time, just saying that although he might keep it simple, and I still think he does need to get a wee bit of match fitness and stuff. I think and I've referenced this before, that the kind of off-ball movement, Tony, that just to show for a pass, I know it sounds basic, but I do think it stands in stark contrast to what James McCarthy's like when he's on in that position.
Yeah.
In terms of just constantly being able to find a wee extra half yard to receive a pass if someone wants to use him. And I know that's not in itself going to get him in the first 11 or anything like that, but certainly if he's coming on for the last 15 minutes in a game like that, it's beneficial. Yeah,
you're talking about movement. I think Kyogo's movement yesterday was something spectacular. Just a kind of masterclass in movement. Didn't always get the ball, but constantly on the move and constantly flagged offside, Sean.
Aye, I mean, anybody that's got me on Twitter will know I spent 10 minutes of my morning finding out.
Nice wee segue into that one,
spent about 10 minutes of my morning finding out when the last time Celtic had 8 offside calls was. And Y-Scout only started in 2015-16, and there hasn't been. There's a few 7s, Tony, Barcelona away, at home, Dundee United away, stuff like that, but no 8 offside calls against in the one game. So that was a new high since 2015-16 anyway. But I don't think he was offside for the one where he went through and rounded the keeper, Tony. I think he looked comfortably on, and no replays that I saw have convinced me otherwise, that kind of thing. I don't want to concentrate too much on the officials, but needless to say, I think Robbie Nielsen criticised them after it, but I think probably criticised them for the wrong thing. Because I think the offside calls, there was a couple that were borderline, and I'm definitely that one where Kyogo went through on goal. I think he was comfortably on. I don't think that was a marginal call. But
I don't think you can watch that game and say that yes, there were 2 teams on the park. One team was trying to win it, Sean. I'll let the viewers and listeners decide who that team was. Robbie Nielsen can think what he thinks.
Potentially the team that had more than 0 shots on target, but anyway.
Yeah. Well, it's a 50-50, Sean, you know what I mean? Let's put it that way. Robbie Nielsen knows that too. But yeah, and I also mentioned it in my man by man yesterday, Sean, as well. And just wanted to highlight it. But Matt O'Reilly's close control and just his general movement and his spatial awareness, game intelligence. I said it should be the stuff of case study. It should be remember Sky used to do the player cam? I focused on Matt O'Reilly yesterday because some of what he does is just exquisite. It really is. And you mentioned to me off air the touch that he took, and then the hook shot, which went narrowly wide. What a goal that would have been.
It was his touch, because it wasn't a great ball.
Yeah.
But the touch managed to get him. I know it went wide, but it still managed to get him a shot off. So.
Yeah, but it's just that kind of the way he thinks about football and the way he can actually execute a pass, and a lot of decent close control as well. He just looks comfortable with a ball at his feet.
Yeah, he's I can't deny any of that. I think he looks superb. I'm still absolutely convinced at some point this season he's going to have an assist with a through ball with his head. Because he tried it in pre-season against, I think it was Norwich, and it was an actual through ball. Like, he saw someone running and just headed it through to them.
Yeah.
But yesterday, even from a defensive position, it was a cross or a corner, I can't remember which, came in, and he was the head that met it. But it quite clearly, to my eye, tried to play someone out.
Yeah.
Like, you know what I mean? It was a pass header. It wasn't just heading it clear. So I'm convinced that's my big prediction. He's going to get an assist with his head, and it's not just going to be a knockdown, it'll be a through ball.
Well, that'll be what the Sky Cam and everybody's on now, Sean. See if Matt Riley gets a through ball with a header. Indeed, just like I like Matt O'Reilly. I think he's a tidy footballer. But that's just me, and I think he's set a very high bar for himself. And he is a player who will be there. So John Coyle says it there. He's a skillful, graceful player. Couldn't agree more. I really do think that, Sean. Anything else take your eye yesterday, Sean?
We've got a few coming in with which I'm never going to shy away from. Greg Taylor played well again. Danny Smith as well. Good to see Taylor putting another good performance. Some praise for Maeda, which you'll have noticed, Tony, was from right wing this time. And
he started in the right wing.
They never really switched yesterday, Maeda and Jota, because I was intrigued. I was looking at it and I was thinking, right, maybe it's from the start to almost kind of confuse Hearts to give them another option, because they would have thought it would be the other way about and then they would switch. And they didn't really switch at all. And I think it was potentially because it was working, but also, I mean, Jota, I know you gave him a 7, and I know he never got a goal or an assist, but I thought Jota gave Atkinson an absolutely horrible time of it yesterday, despite the fact he never got a tangible goal or an assist from it. But
my rationale for that was, Sean, I thought he gave the boy a torrid time, but my rationale was the fact that I just thought his end product yesterday was lacking slightly. Put a couple of dangerous balls in.
A couple of good balls,
but maybe I just expect more from Jota. But I agree with David there. Maeda did brilliant. Yeah, I love Maeda's work rate, but I love the fact that once he gets to that byline or a crossing position, he's pretty accurate now, because he's starting to find Kyogo.
I was going to say, sometimes, especially at the tail end of last season, when it was on his left foot, it would be either wild or right in the area kind of thing. But I suppose that's the benefit of having him on the right wing, because he is naturally right-footed. It's naturally his preferred option, even though it's maybe obviously him and Jota both kind of prefer playing off the left and everything that entails. But again, he's just shown there's no reason he can't play on the right. Got a couple other comments in talking about Aaron Moy. David Ferguson says Moy was excellent, Sean, very efficient and solid. He also had that, would you call it a block, an interception? I don't know, in the lead up to the second goal. I don't know what it's been classified as, but either way, it was him that kind of stopped Hearts.
You can see Moy improving every time he gets game minutes. So I'm pretty.
Despite what I said there, and despite the fact that I agree that he did play well in his cameo, I also agree with David Gillespie's comment here, which is that Moy in the 6 doesn't give the centre-backs quite the options that Callum McGregor does, and needs to be more mobile. I do agree with that, but I also still think that it does give them more options and is more mobile than McCarthy when he's in there. So he kind of falls in between. And it allows McGregor to have a wee shot further forward if the match situation calls for it. But no, I do agree with David Gillespie. I think that with the way that Celtic playing, it was the same last year when he started there and moved there. McGregor does it in such a way that I think is just too hard to replicate. The only play, and I kind of see it's been talked about some places, Tony, and I kind of said it tongue in cheek because I knew it wouldn't happen last year. But I think it was only you and Andy, and I kind of said that the only guy I can kind of see being able to replicate that for Celtic if they got him on loan was Billy Gilmour. And I see a few places suggesting that this summer, and I still don't see that happening. But I do think that the kind of quality that Callum McGregor brings to that position in terms of constantly showing that kind of Paul McStay-esque.
Yeah.
Doesn't matter if there's a player on him, you can still give him it, that kind of thing. No, I agree with David. Moy doesn't quite give you that either, but it does give you more than McCarthy for me.
Pete McGee comes in here.
Oh, sorry, Tony.
Right. And saying, I think we're really seeing Harry Kewell's influence in our flair players or some of their attempts on goal, scissor kick, bicycle kicks, over Megs, etc.
Maybe.
You agree with that, Sean?
Potentially, aye. I mean, I don't know how much he would be encouraging them to just try that kind of stuff, but potentially, it's more like when Davis Keeler-Dunn spoke to you about it, I was kind of more intrigued to see Jota's decision making and his movement off the ball, that kind of thing. And I don't mean defensively; I just mean the positions he takes up and stuff like that. For maybe seeing Harry Kewell's influence, but it very well could be the encouragement, the confidence to try these things. Got a couple of things kind of touches on what you were saying off camera to me, Tony. Would you agree with this from Stephen? Turnbull has had a chance to impress, but it's Hatate back in now. Is that harsh, or do you think it's just naturally the way that things have developed the last couple of games?
Well, we speak about Kyogo being the natural starting centre forward when he's fit. I think that's kind of natural that Hatate, excuse me, when he's fit, trumps Turnbull. Might be rotated every now and again, but I just think he likes Hatate and he likes what he brings. And I think Hatate brought a real kind of fresh impetus yesterday and give Celtic a wee jolt when they needed it. And the manager made the call early, didn't he?
Yep.
He sensed it well. So, and Hatate seemed bang up for it and contributed. So, again, I go back to the Kyogo Giakoumakis debate. I think if you're talking about Hatate and Turnbull, then Hatate starts as long as he remains fit.
Yeah, I'd agree with that. I think, although obviously, and I like getting on about squad depth and stuff, and that means there is rotation options, but I still think when you take it in a vacuum and say, like, if you've got a vital Champions League group stage game, or if you've got a derby coming up or something, and it's the very next game, then you'll find out who his preferred 11 are, that kind of thing. So for all the kind of the caveats of, it's a big squad and there is no first 11. There is a first 11 when it comes to a big game. And I think I'd agree with you. It would be Hatate over Turnbull for me.
Yeah. Speaking of big games, Sean, some big games coming up in the big draw on Thursday. Everybody looking forward to see who Celtic get. Lots of talk that they want Real Madrid.
A few of them have said that, Tony.
You're looking at the draw with straight fingers. Listen, you take who you get in the draw. That's exactly what happens. Celtic in the pot 4. It's going to be difficult. But you know my thoughts on it, Sean. Let's have a rip at it. We're there on merit. Let's have a rip. So there you go. And also yesterday, Sean, that came out of the aftermath and doesn't usually talk about players, but spoke about Sayed Haksabanovic and said that a deal was close. Now, he's not normally that forthcoming.
No.
He's speaking about transfers, so are we to assume from that, connecting dots or joining lines, that he could possibly be a Celtic player by the end of the week?
I think that is exactly what he was trying to hint at, because he doesn't do that, Tony.
No, he doesn't.
He would have slapped it down if it was it was not out of turn, but if it was too soon to say, that kind of thing. So I think when it comes from him directly that he chose to answer in that way, I think that's a very positive sign.
Yeah, and as I say, it's unlike him to comment specifically on individual players in terms of transfer activity. So read into that what you will, but on that assumption, I think it's possibly safe to say that Said Haksabanovic is on his way to possibly signing for Celtic at some point this week.
Yep. We'll keep you abreast of that. We'll also have we've got the scout report on the site, which I can put a link up to as well. But just in general, we'll keep you up to date with all that. Frank Brennan came in with a cracking comment. There is no first 11, Sean. Instead, only a starting 11 and a finishing 11, which is fair enough, Frank.
I think the manager's kind of alluded to that, hasn't he? Yeah.
Yep.
And here's Gary McDowell taking a leaf out your old Daz book, Sean.
I wonder if he's been reading a certain someone on the Celtic way.
Just now, Sean, that's a reference to an opinion piece I wrote this morning, or a colour piece on the Celtic environment, which, if you've got the link, you can put it in the comments. There it is. and I described it as a dear green place, the Celtic environment just now, and everything's quite rosy, isn't it? And it will get better on Thursday when you just see Celtic's name and amongst some of the heavyweights in the elite and Europeans Premier club competition. Sean, really looking forward to the draw.
Same, yep. I think probably Wednesday night, time to get excited. Innit?
Yeah.
And I need to check what time it's on at. Do you know off the top of your head? No?
I believe it's 5 o'clock.
Right. All right. So it's later on. So it'll be after this. So it'll be Friday. We'll be able to. We might even come on live and talk about it, Tony, see what happens. But I know it's definitely one of those things. It's an exciting time. It'll be interesting to see who's in it after the qualifiers on Tuesday and Wednesday as well. But.
Of course, yeah. But it's just exciting to see Celtic back in amongst the elite again. And yeah, Robert Gibson, yeah. Waiter a glass of water for Mr. Haggerty, please. Indeed,
I see somebody commenting saying you've developed Ange's cough.
It's merely coincidental. I'm not trying to emulate his idiosyncrasies. Honestly, it's just merely coincidental. I've been struggling with the throat, but hey, the show must go on, Sean. We never stop, so we'll just keep going till we fall off the chair. That's more like it, John McGahey. I like that.
I am. Are you all right, Tony?
Yes, I'm okay.
We've got a few comments coming in. Just give you a wee minute to compose yourself. Yeah, indeed. David Ferguson, Kyogo must tire defenders out with all his runs or completely confuse them. I agree with that. There was a guy commented on my tweet yesterday saying the Hearts defenders must be getting treated for dizziness at half time because they must be constantly looking about to see where he is.
Twisted blood and all that, yeah. David, I took one negative, surprisingly so. So I kept myself right on that score. But
another comment on Moy, 18 minutes, nearly 40 touches, exactly the control Celtic need in the bottom third of the game. Fine, yeah, don't disagree with that.
Listen, I'm happy with the way Moy's progression. I really am. It's bit by bit, but you can see him playing a better part.
Yep. What do you think of this comment, Tony Kevin Layden? I have to say, Big Jens looks a player in the most comfortable left centre-back Celtic have. He should be first choice along with Carter Vickers now. Do you agree with that, or is it too soon after just a couple of games?
Do you know what? I thought the two of them looked really comfortable yesterday, but again, I couched that with the fact that Hearts had no shots on target. The only concern for me was the way they got ripped open for the chance for Josh Ginnelly.
Yep.
And as you say, a better technical player puts that away. So that was that. But that apart, they coped with everything that Hearts could throw at them, which wasn't much. But they dealt with it all. So and I like Big Jens. I like what he's contributed so far. Again, that's a wonderful headache to have because you are permanent at the minute. You're permanent 2 from 3, aren't you? I know Welsh was there, but it's Jens, Starfelt, and Jensen Starfelt alongside Cameron Carter-Vickers. It's one of those two, isn't it? But you're equally comfortable with either or appearing beside them?
Pretty much, aye. I think Starfelt, as I said, that when he appeared against Kilmarnock, it was a different type of game that he entered to what Jens had left, really. So it was more about clearances and stuff rather than Jens, which was ball progression and different things. But I thought Carter-Vickers and Jens both contributed in that sense yesterday. I mean, they had to when Hearts were sitting deeper and stuff. It's just part and parcel of being a Celtic centre-back. It's the kind of main thrust of what I wanted to kind of see what Maurice Jens could bring to the table because he'd spoke highly of what he thought his skill set was. When you looked at his previous clubs, he hadn't really had the opportunity to show that was the case. So for me, it was more about now that there is virtually no club in the world, maybe 2 or 3, that you will get as many chances to progress the ball and to pass the ball from centre-back as you will at Celtic. So just interesting to see how he's doing with that. I still think he holds on to it slightly too long. Carter Vickers is learning to release it quicker as well. I thought both of them did well yesterday, though.
Yeah. Like Robert Gibson's comment here, first dibs in the wardrobe of Tony Croaks. Love that. You know what I mean? Never mind your man. Let's divvy up the furniture. Excellent, Robert. I appreciate that. Top banana.
No friends in this game, Tony.
I quickly forget, Shawnee. There you go. Just put a blanket over your old dad. Right? Let's get this. Yeah, Kaiser.
Kaiser, yep, saying just about Hatate's influence again. I think a lot of people noticed it, Tony. I think it was it was evident when he came on that. But then this is credit to Ange Postecoglou, because as I say, he made the subs earlier, identifying, I think, that although Hearts weren't explicitly threatening, there was the potential. So rather than wait for something to happen, get the likes of Hatate on, and it did change. You can't really say it changed the game when Celtic were 1-0 up, 1-2-0, but it helped see that game through to that conclusion.
He mentioned that Celtic weren't free flowing, but they were always dominant and always in control. And he said he was pleased that all the substitutes contributed and had an impact.
Mm-hmm.
You can't argue with that.
No, I think he's called it accurately again. I'll use that word again. They were a wee bit profligate in front of goal, Tony. Nonetheless, again, when you take it in the context of the game rather than what Celtic could be capable of, they done more than enough. There was only one team winning that, as exemplified, and it will be in the data roundup when I put it on later the day. StatsBomb is our data provider. They do like a race chart of the chances and the shots that you have, and they give you a value at the end, and then it puts it through a system, and it says, like, if this game played out 100 times, then Celtic would win however many times. It was 99 times, Tony. Hearts only had a 1% chance of coming away with victory with the way that game unfolded. So as much as they were wasteful, as much as it wasn't free-flowing, and I agree with Ange Postecoglou, there was only one team capable of winning that game for me.
Yeah, indeed. David Ferguson comes back in. Sean says, a cutthroat business, this podcasting, Tony. At this moment, it's a rasping throat business, David, I would say, but there you have it. Yeah, indeed. I totally agree, Sean, that the stats don't lie in that sense, do they?
No. Sorry, I said 99% chance of winning for Celtic. It was 89, 10% for a draw, but still 1% for Hearts. Being able to actually come away with a win there. But
yeah. And I think everybody watched that same game unfold yesterday. Managers watched their own team, and Robbie Nielsen's comments, well, maybe wide of the target. That's just what he's seen. But I don't think he can have any complaints about the result. He can maybe have complaints about the specifics of the late red cards, but that's his business. But Ange touched upon it yesterday as well, that Celtic didn't lose their shape and their discipline and get frustrated because it was only 1-0 and they were being profligate and maybe hadn't put it to bed long before it should. So that was a good thing from Celtic's point of view, Sean.
Yeah, again, I don't disagree. I think he was right probably to say that in terms of the not free flowing and keeping their discipline. Cameron Carter-Vickers kind of echoed that as well about grinding it out. I still think they had really good moments though. I thought Kyogo had a good game. I think the subs came on. Obviously, Yakimakis scored. Abada, all right, he frustrated everybody with not playing Juranovic through in that occasion, but I thought it showed some pace. He showed some danger. And obviously Hatate we've spoken about. So no, I think when he maybe looks back at it the day again and they're doing the video analysis and stuff, it will be one of those games where he says, well, they didn't ditch their principles. The Hearts made it difficult, but we still played the football that we're trying to play, even though it wasn't coming off, all that kind of stuff. Do you know what I mean?
I actually like Juranovic. He was just bombing up and down, wasn't he?
Again, he was still a wee bit lax with the ball occasionally at the back, especially in the early stages. But he doesn't let it get to him, and he did have a good game, and he very much was. He wanted up to get the nosebleed territory. I think he was very much capable of that. And are we giving him an assist for that ball across? I think you are, aren't you? You're giving him.
You have to, don't you?
I think Yakimakis definitely touched it. I think it touched the defender on the way in, but he was still trying to.
But he got the vital touch, which took it on target, didn't he?
Mm-hmm.
Or steering it towards the goal, certainly. Yeah, he got the aid of a slight deflection of the Hearts player, but I'm still giving it to Yakimakis as a goal. Excuse me. Mm-hmm. Well, on that note, it's another happy Monday, Sean. Celtic are top of the league by 2 points. We look forward to the Champions League draw on Thursday. We'll build that up in the days to come. But as usual, guys, say it every week. Subscribe to the Celtic Way. Hit that button. You know what to do. It's £1 for full access for the month. And you just log on to www.celticway.co.uk/subscribe.
Yep.
But before we go, Sean,
I was going to say, Tony, I thought
before
you
we
forgot
go, let the viewers know something when you go.
Nah, just that while you are still here before you all click X, because they're just talking about the subscriptions and stuff like that. We've got a wee special episode for you later on. We'll release that around about tea time, so keep your eyes on the YouTube channel, also about the podcast channel. If you're on Twitter, we'll put a wee tweet out just to alert you to the fact that it's going live. But without spoiling who the guest is or anything like that, needless to say, Tony, it's an interesting chat, wasn't it, that we had?
Oh,
On the subject of a certain Celtic manager, believe it or not, but nonetheless, a wee special episode for you later on.
Yeah, it's 21 minutes of gold, really, isn't it? It's a valuable.
I thoroughly enjoyed it. Yeah, I thoroughly enjoyed it.
It's a wonderful insight into the Celtic manager, and as Sean said, look out in the YouTube channels for it coming up. It's well worth a listen, guys. Excellent. So, as I said, have a happy Monday. I'm sure you will. We always do when Celtic win. It's always great. Always a great feeling to discuss another Celtic victory, and it's an even better feeling to be top of the league this early, Sean.
It is 4 games, 4 wins. Cannot complain with that, Tony. Pete McGee saying what time? I'm going to say around about 5. I'll be putting it live, Pete. So just keep your eyes peeled for that wee tea time special.
I'm away for a glass of water and some iron brew and just a general lie down. But guys, thank you for putting up with the raspberry throat man today. I'll square my game for tomorrow, hopefully, Sean. Thanks for the contribution. We say it a lot, but we do genuinely appreciate you guys coming on and getting involved, and we love to flick up the comments and just shoot the breeze about Celtic. It's what the tie that binds us together, and we love this wee community, guys, and we can see with the people that are joining us live that we really do appreciate it. It's not just lip service that we're paying to you. We are quite humbled by it all, aren't we, Sean?
Yep, very much so. Every day, it seems to be growing and much appreciated.
There's Pete McGee again, gargle with whiskey. Hey, there you go.
Not on the job, please.
Not on the job, yeah. After 5, I think we'll do that and see how we get there. But guys, tremendous. Have a good one. We'll see you all, same back channel, same time tomorrow. All the best.
Cheers, Tony. Cheers, Trips.